everybody. Welcome to Top Football Club Live. Football Tonight is the name of the show. We are live on YouTube. We're also live on the AMP app if you want to listen to us live, radio style. If you're driving, if you're doing other stuff you can't watch, you can definitely listen to us on the AMP app. And, of course, watch us again on YouTube and listen to these on demand, either on the website, topfcnews.com, or listen to the Squeaky Bomb podcast. Laurent's got the video on the YouTube channel, also on Spotify. We got a lot going on and a lot of news to cover today. Laurent, what's happening? I'm gonna give you your time right now because you want to rent. You need to rent, and it's because
I made a video on my personal channel. My team, the San Diego Loyal, announced today that they are ceasing operations after 3 seasons in the USL. I didn't think I would be this sad, but I am. So I'm, as we know, I'm a Manchester City fan. That's how I support in the Premier League. But I go to local football, and San Diego does not have an MLS team yet. We're going to have one in 2025. And so I've been going to the Loyal every game that I could. Shout out to Walt and Jeff and Mike, the guys I sit with. I'm just like, I could cry. It's like, it's so sad. It's like, it must be like relegation, but worse. So this is the problem with U.S. soccer. We don't have relegation. When your team folds, it literally dies. So there are only a handful of teams in England that have ever died. I think Bury is the last one. Harrisford almost went down. Rangers went bankrupt, but then they just reform it. So in America, we have whole leagues that have disappeared. The NASL, gone. The Cosmos, gone. The Washington Dips, gone. The LA Aztecs, gone. Just tons and tons and tons of teams that are just gone. English people, you cannot imagine. European football fans, you cannot imagine. Just think, teams disappearing. So my team will disappear. And every moment I felt, everything I saw, all the fandoms is just gone. And I'm expected to go just support the next team that shows up in my town. It's insanity. And I'm really bummed out. But I'm going to press on and root for Newcastle to beat Liverpool on Sunday.
Well, I mean, I got you, man. It is disheartening because one thing that that Europeans can say above us is, that really we can't have a home team. People in Newcastle, if people see my shirt, got a new Newcastle shirt. I'm repping the UK flag in England. I should be repping, a team in the United States. And obviously, kind of with the Saudi Arabia takeover, it's going to take a long time for them to even get close to having a royalty team, as we call it. And us would be the same. It would take a long time for us to build that, and probably our grandchildren would probably celebrate, if a team that we like that starts now and then 100 years later, then they become big and whatever. Probably wouldn't enjoy it.
I think that's,
but still, it would be nice for us to start.
Sports teams is they take a long time to really build. You need to suffer. You need to have moments. And I think one of the things that American soccer doesn't quite understand is that you do need to allow for the pain to happen. And football is, the moments of winning are very small. Only one team wins every year. Only one team wins the Champions League. And that's why the big teams have so many fans, is because everyone else's team is just going through the pain. But that's where you grow fandom. For someone who's a Newcastle fan for 100 years and hears people talk about Jackie Milburn, or when Sir Bobby came in and brought them to the Champions League, or the pain of getting relegated and how much they hated Mike Ashley. Twice they got relegated, but then the joy of Rafa Benitez lifting them up and then being in the Premier League, and the joy they felt when Mike Ashley left, and now the PIF owns the team, whatever that means. I'm not going to go into it, but you have to have the suffering to have the joy. And it's kind of like American soccer just is kind of like the way we treat children today. We kind of just like, oh, we don't want them to suffer. Oh, you fell down. Oh, no, we're going to walk you. You got to let the leagues hurt. Let the teams hurt. Let them go down. Let them disappear. Or let them go down a level. But we don't even let that happen. So what would have happened with the Loyal in a pro-rel world is we would have went down. We would have went down to another level and maybe found the right footing and then built back up. I think of all the Luton Town fans out there who are just like, I can't believe my team is in the league, to the point that their stadium they had to skip a game because their stadium wasn't ready because it's a dump. But it's their dump.
Yeah. No,
I can't wait.
I agree with you, man. I agree, and it's sad. And hopefully, someday we can talk about, we got to resurrect.
Well, we're going to get an MLS team, but I don't trust San Diego to care, because why should they care? Someone like me who just put all this time, I've been in San Diego for 8 years, 3 years as a loyal fan. I'm already jaded. I'm like, why should I care about this team? They're going to leave. Why would it survive? I don't know. I'm bummed out. Anyway, let's talk about what we got to talk about.
Well, you had to have your say so on that, so no big deal.
Yeah.
And again, if you are live, you can just give us a thumbs up if you like to, and obviously you can call in. You just let us know you want to come in, have your say. We can drop a link and you can join us. And to the people that's been listening on the podcast, also I want to on Spotify or on Google Podcasts, everybody out there listening. Thank you so much. We see some improvement and it's growing. So thank you to everybody out there. And okay, so let's get started. And we have a lot of top news, top football to talk about across the board.
A lot.
And as you know, men's domestic game is back underway all across Europe, and the Serie A just started as well, week 1, and it is looking good. Now, one football made a list. I have no idea, because they have like Rayo Vallecano number 8 in the world. I don't know about any Leverkusen.
Where they get that from?
Yeah, exactly. It's of like the 2 weeks, and they got City 4th and Real Madrid 3rd, but they got Monaco and Brighton number 1.
Well, maybe they're doing an expected goal difference.
Well, because they have
with stats.
They have a 4-1 win against the Wolves and stuff like that, But
against Wolves, sure.
Still, I would feel a little embarrassed unless they're trying to, clickbait.
Well, I have Brighton news. I'm on top of all Brighton news. So
exactly.
My little top 4 prediction is going to be in pain, but it's about a very famous South American footballer that they will not have the services.
Now, let's start talking about Europe's really jewel that's been just playing tremendous football the past few weeks, and that's been Jude Bellingham. Really, I mean, I will admit I didn't have him as a player that I was really interested in watching. I know he was playing great at you hear stuff. I was hearing about him at Dortmund, but what he's doing at Real Madrid, and again, only 2 weeks. But you have to have some cojones to actually put on that jersey. If not, some people can say it's the heaviest jersey to put on, or one of them, and just perform. But he's just an box to box scoring goals. Carlo Ancelotti said one thing about him, and he said he is just so great at finding the open space, and he finds it, and he's able to score. Yeah, incredible.
What I've noticed is how much he's ghosting into the box. He's got the size and the physicality of a striker, and they don't have a striker right now. So he's getting in the box. He's getting on the end of crosses. The funny thing is that Vinny's having a hard time. So there's a little bit of an adjustment period, and I think that Bellingham is filling in that gap. But listen, here's the funny thing. This is one of these moments I don't watch a tremendous amount of the championship, but I had heard of Bellingham when he was 16 in Birmingham City. And he had that frame. It was already there. He had the little boy head, but he's got such a great body. He's got the broad shoulders. He's big. He runs well. You're going to see him fill out, and he's going to get to look like your favorite player, Paul Pogba. Really big, really physical. He may just end up, like a good 180-pound, runs like a deer, good on the ball. He's got all the physicality. You can see it. It's there, right? Between him and Camavinga, they just have a midfield. You can see they're already starting to let Modric fade. You're starting to see Kroos fade. Yeah. You're starting to see the next version of Real, and they have a superstar in Bellingham. It's so, so rare. I think people don't realize this. For a 16-year-old to play top-level football. We love young players, but Bellingham was playing top-level. The championship in the EFL is top-level football. It's against men. Yeah. And then he goes to Dortmund at 17. He's still just 20 years old. Like, he's already been in big games, playing for England in the Euros. He's a top-notch player. And I have to give credit to Real. They saw it. Then they went after him. You felt like it felt like Liverpool was going to be the right step. And I really, in my heart of hearts, think that had they made the Champions League, maybe Liverpool has a shot at him. But by missing the Champions League and the ambition of Bellingham, it really, really put him on like, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to go to Real and not mess around where I can be the man. What an incredible player. He's just getting everywhere. And then the charisma, the gravitas, he's got the it factor, right? Yeah. He's got the thing. On the field, you can't keep your eyes off him.
Yeah, no, he's been great. And I mean, obviously, I wonder what is the ceiling. A lot of people are, on a lot of articles, they're comparing him to a lot of Real Madrid greats. I mean, Raul, to Zinedine Zidane, more not just the position, but obviously, I see a lot of him replacing Karim Benzema. That's not going to happen. They're not the same position. But no. But he's scoring a lot, which I don't know how long he can sustain that. But it's really interesting. And again, you said they don't have a striker, but if and when he goes there, definitely you'll see more than likely some shortage of goals from Bellingham. And he's probably going to do more creative work. Real Madrid has started
hopefully
not bad, doing good performances. But then again, you said Vinicius Jr. is kind of suffering because of where he's playing right now. And you see, Mbappe, does he have a point at saying, I don't want to play number 9? You see it with Rashford in Manchester United, so these players, you just need to let them go maybe.
I think the issue is with some of these wingers who have a hard time transitioning is that, and this isn't to knock them or give them a hard time or be mean to them or whatever. They're all great. It's that it's harder. Being a winger in attack is the easier position to play. You usually get the ball out in space. You're usually running onto a ball. You're usually running into space. You're usually just hitting a wall pass off someone on the inside, be it your attacking midfielder or your striker. But that story, that ability to be central to your attack and do different things, that's what made Benzema so good. He could be the point or he could allow Vinny to play. The issue Vinny's having is he mature enough in his all-around game? That's what makes Benzema, that's what makes Kane so good. They're very rare players, and it's very rare to see a striker that's able to do that. Even as much as I love Haaland, he doesn't do that yet either, but he's a lethal finisher, right? He doesn't get involved in play and bring the wingers in. He just, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. And you can be a great and effective player that way, and that's what Vinny's been. But for him to play inside, he needs to be more. And does he have it in him to be more? And I think that's what makes it so hard. That's what makes Benzema, Kane, Lewandowski, that's what makes those players so valuable. It's why it's such a hard position to play.
Yeah.
And it's why Lukaku doesn't have a job, because he never got better.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't. I mean, we've been talking about Spurs, and I heard TalkSport earlier, and one says, actually, Alan Brazil, he says a big no. He just doesn't see Tottenham fans receiving him well.
Tottenham and Chelsea. I mean, there's been a lot of managers that go from Chelsea to Tottenham, but players, it'll be weird. It's so weird. Lukaku is such a strange player because he is good and he does score goals, and when he's in his moments, but it feels like he's never scored a big goal in a big game.
Yeah. So now Barcelona agreed to an obligatory buy clause for JOAO CANCELO, ex Manchester City.
He's so good.
I just feel like he's so good. I agree with you. He's so good, but why?
The issue with him is, and you know what? To be fair to him, he does admit it. When he doesn't play, he acts like a baby. He just wants to play all the time, and when he does not play, he acts like a jerk in training. He gets mad and he sulks. When he had his great seasons for City, not last season, but the season before, he was literally City's number one provider when they didn't have Haaland and all the guys were running around. He made these, low crosses, but he played like 38 games, 50 if you include the Champions League. Once he got benched, once he had to fight for places, he lost it and got nuts. And I think with Pep, if you cross him, you're dead to he's dead. You're dead to him, and he's out with you. We're seeing it with Calvin Phillips, and now we're seeing it with Cancelo, where if he sees bad body language or you're not team first, you're gone. And that's kind of the City ethos is if you're not down, you're done.
Yeah, I think he's just such a good talent, though. I think he'll do well at Barcelona.
So good.
I think he played well at Bayern Munich as well, but they didn't want to buy him.
Well, I think it got weird. They had the Nagelsmann thing. They had this. They were having defensive problems. The issue is that he's not a great defender, and if you call him out on it, he doesn't like it. That's the thing. He's tough to coach. He fell out at Juventus. That's how City got him. They got him, I think, on a swap deal with Danilo. And he seems to have fallen out in several places. Had a hard time in Portugal. So he's a mercurial player. He needs to either he needs to get with the program or he's going to end up a level down.
Yeah, he seems to be a little baby. Did you hear about Toni Kroos and his savage take on Gabri Veiga, the kid, a really good player from Celta Vigo?
I know he went to Saudi Arabia. I did not hear his take.
Well, he said basically.
What did Kroos say?
It's an embarrassing and a letdown for football that a young player would decide to go to those. Now, if you're Kroos, you're in the age where you don't want to turn. You know what? You don't want to close doors, so you better be quiet because he might get that Saudi deal.
Listen.
But it is kind of.
It's very easy. It's very easy when you're an older player who's been at Real Madrid for 7 years to talk shit to a young kid.
You're right.
I said this when I made my video about Jordan Henderson. We don't know the circumstances of a player. We don't know if he has to fund his whole team or his whole town or how many people he has to put on. We don't know. There was an article in ESPN today about different players, how they handle retirement. Even ones who had long careers. A guy like Nader Manua played for City, played for QPR, played in MLS. Having a hard time. Players that sort of lose passion for the game at like 29 years old. They're kind of like, I don't feel like playing anymore. It's a lot of that. So you can make the argument that maybe he doesn't love football the way Toni Kroos loves football. Maybe he doesn't love he's like, you know what? I did this to get out of my small town, and the biggest money I can get is what I'm going to do. We don't know how people think. So we shouldn't sort of take a single view of how it is. Not everybody thinks of it like this. Obviously, you and I, we love football. Otherwise, we wouldn't do this. And it would be our dream to one day walk out on the pitch, and I would do it in a heartbeat if I actually was good. But I'm not. Yeah, right, so I'm talking.
On the the move, you see it on your screen that just basically he commented on the move and just said embarrassing. But again, we just don't know. Now, if you're, you can kind of debate it. If you're a young, upcoming star, everybody's talking about you, and you can see that maybe Tony thinks that he's going to get a big team to sign him. It's a matter of time. But then again, like you said, we just don't know the way they live, the way you can't compare him to Roberto Firmino or Mendy or even Saint Maximin, who I wish it would have stayed at Newcastle, but they made their money for the most part.
He would have driven you insane.
Man, listen,
he's so good. Oh my God,
he's
so weird. He's so
I watched all Newcastle highlights, basically. I think from last season, and I was like, wait a minute, this player didn't play last week. What the hell is going on with Eddie Howe? I wanted him fired, and then I looked at the roster and
Alan Saint Maximin. And he was gone. Can I stop for a second?
Yeah,
I love Alan Saint Maximin. He was the best. The hip swivels with the step overs, the stuff, everything he did. Alan Saint Maximin is a legend in my heart forever. Yeah. However, that is not a Champions League player.
Nah, come on, stop. No,
you can't imagine how many crosses went way out, how many shots went flying over the bar. Trust me on Alan Saint Maximin.
You're right. I did see a lot
insane. Like for everything he could do, he'd have like 4 goals, 3 assists over like 2,000 minutes. And you're like, yo, my G, That's Callum Wilson in the middle, one of the best finishers in football. Why aren't you giving it to him?
Yeah, no,
amazing. I love him. I love him. Really I love him. Talent. His hair is funny. Yeah. And speaking of which, Doku, that City just signed. I know it's not in our news rundown, but I'm throwing it in there. City just signed a winger from France. Yes, who's very similar to Alan Saint-Maximin. Very similar. Yeah, so he takes that right wing spot for Mahrez. Yeah. I did a reel about it.
No, it was really good. I recommend you guys watching it. It's on our shorts part of the YouTube channel. And so, that's not the good one. Now, Robert Lewandowski apparently is losing his scoring touch, according to Barcelona, sliding that under the table. And I don't know
who said that,
but they're leaking this. Vitor Roque is actually a Brazilian youngster that's looking pretty good, but obviously he can't arrive quick enough because apparently they're looking at Lewandowski and thinking, wow, he's definitely not looking like last season. So I don't know. I think he's still got gas in the tank. Obviously, he's getting older. I mean, you can't deny that. And yet they knew this when they got him from Bayern Munich. So it happens to everybody.
Listen. This is Barcelona. This place, Civ. Remember, it's a socio team, right? People are on the board. People are in the stadium. There's hundreds of people that work for the team. It's all opened up. And if someone has an agenda, they will blast him because maybe they're connected to the agent or the friend of this guy. These two political clubs, that's the thing I give a lot of credit to Florentino Perez. That ship that's Real Madrid is pretty tight, all things considered, because he uses marca and he uses ass very, very distinctly. But Barca is not like that. That's why these Spanish coaches are like, you have no idea. Like Pep would be like, you have no idea how much easier it is to coach Manchester City than coach Barcelona. It's a zoo. So I could see them trying to knock Lewandowski down so they don't have to pay him, or they can move him on, or trying to sort of start to discredit him so that he can be benched or something along those lines. A lot of political stuff. They start to lay the groundwork in these ways where they just start to blast a guy. If he scores a hat trick this weekend, all of it will go out the window.
It's over. But they mentioned he hadn't not scored more than 3 matches in the previously that was 2018 with Bayern Munich, and that's obvious. I mean, that's a different league. Not saying he's easier, but you have a team that just kills everybody. So you have to take this.
Well, here's the thing to remember: the Bundesliga has been the highest scoring league for the last 5 or 6 years. By average goals per game. So it is the actual highest scoring league. So you do see a bit more goals from those players. So you should always tamper it down. The thing, it's funny. Everyone should look at FBref top 5 leagues. There's so many good stats, like red cards in La Liga. It's a lunatic asylum. They give red cards like candy bars
for everything. That's insane. It's insane. Oh, well, we'll see. Vitor Roque, we'll see how he does. But he's still a young player. So, I mean, you can't. I doubt that they're going to just put him in there. And they wouldn't. I don't think they would bench Lewandowski, really. Now, another really thing is that Pedri, the youngster, the golden boy, not too long ago, he is injured, and he keeps getting injured for Barcelona. So now they're questioning what's going on, what's in the diet.
I'll tell you what's going on. Yeah, I know exactly what's going on. He played 60 games in a season at 17 years old. Oh, yeah, your body's not meant to do that. Yeah, that's why. They played him. Remember, they played him like he played every game for like 2 years. Something ridiculous.
Well, for the past few years,
when you're that young, you're not supposed to play that much.
And in the last few years, they really put a lot of heavy work on those youngsters. Ansu Fati. But Ansu Fati also in that situation, always getting injured, always and again, it could be nutrition, it could be a lot of work, a lot of bad training. Some coaches.
Here's the number, right? Yeah. 17 years old, Pedri played 3,500 minutes, 52 games. That should never happen, ever. Wow. That's way too much. And since then, he did play 2,700 last year, so that was a lot. But that was not all the Barcelona games. Very dangerous for young guys to play that much. Like we all want to play, but we know this thing. We have the red zone. They know these things. And I think the issue for Barcelona is they didn't have talent in that moment, right? They had money problems. They had Messi leaving, and they just ran this kid into the ground. And now they're paying for it. It's obvious.
Yeah. It's an injury.
I think everybody said it.
To the right thigh. There's no further information really, could
muscular.
Be
hopefully, as long as it's not ankle and tendons, he'll be fine. But
exactly.
So, well, at least international break is probably coming up soon for them.
Well, he'll go to Spain. Well, I mean, he wouldn't go now, but yeah,
no,
it ain't like if it was healthier, he would catch a break. Let's keep it. Let's say that. Now, you were mentioning Luka Modric, and he wants to play for the first team. Obviously, he's getting older, but you got Jude Bellingham, you got Camavinga is more than likely going to be the number 5. Then you got Tchouaméni, a great player that Arsenal won not too long ago. So basically, all the spots are taken, and Kroos plays now more than Modric. And listen, I've watched Modric play for a long time, and he's somebody that never gets tired, has the mind. You'll never get rid of the mind, because he thinks the game right way. But I mean, he's I think 37 years old, and
he's gonna be 38 in 10 days. Almost 38.
It'll be hard to keep the midfield in check. I think Ancelotti knows what he's doing.
I think Ancelotti will know what to do. You've got to keep him for the big games when you're behind or teams are sitting deep. I don't think he can be in a high energy game anymore where there's a lot of not pressing, where you have to go after and get the ball. If teams are pressing you and he can play off in the back, he's got to play deeper. You have to manage him. And it's whether he wants to be managed at that level, right? I think that's the question. There's still no doubt that he's got the touches, he's got the moves, but he can't defend anymore the way that he did.
No, I don't.
I mean, City really abused him in that Champions League final at Real. I mean, he just couldn't keep up.
Yeah. On Friday, August.
It's normal. It's normal. Look, Busquets is in Miami, right? This is I would say Modric and Busquets are the generational players at that position, that deeper, controlling, pacing midfielder. And I think that's it. This is the time, right?
Obviously, I've said this before. You can't have two old guys in the middle. You got to choose one. And if you're going to choose Kroos, Luka Modric's got to go. I mean, or sit down. He can be a bench player. I mean, I think he will be the right player to take on that role. I don't think he's not a locker room nuisance per se, but
no.
But still wants to play.
He'll be fine. It's just it's Real Madrid. It's going to be a conversation. It's going to keep coming out, and until Modric really has to go, I'm fine. I'll take the role. Then it'll be fine. But they got to make stories, right?
Yeah. Hey, let's move on.
I love him. Modric is great.
Yeah, let's move on to the Premier League. So Crystal Palace is set on EZE, and Manchester City wants him. So what do you know about that? What's happening with EZE?
I love EZE.
We saw him against Arsenal.
I love him. No, I love him. He's prominent in my reel about that Arsenal game. When Crystal Palace works, it works because of EZE. He can go box to box. He's an attacking midfielder. He'll come deep for the ball. And he does get on things, really good with a free kick, strong, great dribbler. On the play that he almost got a penalty, he had dribbled through everyone and then took some contact and went down. You've seen him given. Anyway, City going in for something in the 70 million range. I love the player. I would hate to see Palace lose him. I don't think City need him. I don't think he's a player that City would play on a regular basis. Whose position does he take? He's way too much of a maverick. Kind of does what he wants. And City are so structured, he would bristle under that kind of structure. I don't think it's the right thing to do.
With the Paquetá deal collapsing, you don't think there's a reason why they wanted Paquetá is to play him? So could he not go into that role?
The thing is, but I think Paquetá is much more fits into that Pausa kind of controlling player. EZE is much more of I'm going to go past people. I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to do flare moves. He's very similar to Foden. Foden is that player for City. And City have have a yin and yang of types of players. They have players that are designed for aggression and going forward and front foot, and then players that can do that as well, but are more control, pausa, fire it into them and slow things down. So Grealish, even on the attack, slows things down, lets City keep possession. Kovacic is that player as well, whereas Foden and De Bruyne and Haaland are for going up and down and scoring goals. But the other players are there to control. And Pep is obsessed with control. Eze does not strike me as a control player. And you know that Paquetá can do it because he did it with Moyes. With Moyes, all he did was sit behind the ball and flashes every 10 minutes. He'd get a touch that maybe he could fire up to Bowen and do the thing. So you know he has discipline, whereas Eze is a big fish in a small pond at Crystal Palace. And I as much as I want City and as much as I love Eze as a bigger football fan and a bigger Premier League fan, I'd hate to see Palace lose Eze, because without Eze, I think Palace could go down.
All right.
He's that important.
We'll see what happens with that. And, of course, they signed, what's his name?
Doku. Jeremy Doku.
That's a pop-up quiz.
Really tricky. Yeah. Really tricky winger. Got that same Maximin, got the swivelly hips, really takes on the Mahrez role of the tricky winger, getting in behind and can break a man down. If you leave him one-on-one, he's going past you. He was the number one player in the top 5 leagues. So that's Liga, Serie A, LaLiga, and the Premier League and Bundesliga in total distance carried per 90 minutes, almost 300 meters per game. So used to being on the ball, used to moving it through the field, through the wing, through the center, and getting on the ball and doing things. My only concern, because, when you watch things on highlights mostly, is does he have the footballing intelligence to adapt to Pep Guardiola, where it's just like, you do this, don't do anything else. You stay high and wide, we'll get you the ball, but don't move. It's really hard for someone like a Doku to be that way. Grealish already mentioned how hard it was for him to stay out wide where we want you to. You're there for a reason. I've put you there. And if he can do that, then I think he can have an impact this season. But I would expect him to be 1,500 minutes to 20, 25 games this year. It's really hard to break into City just because it's so much.
So Chelsea is having an injury crisis. Modric, another player down.
You know what? They're better off without playing him. That guy's a bum.
Oh my God. Another hot take. This is going to be as a clip on YouTube.
How have we seen him do anything resembling anything that wins games?
He's definitely gotten stronger, bigger, but he's been playing for him. Obviously, Pochettino thinks that he can do something. Can
he just put a shot on target, please? Thank you. That's all I ask. Between him and Sterling on the wings, they're just going to drive everyone insane because they just get to the byline and then fuck it up.
So why do you? This is 9th player that has been picking up an injury? What's going on here with Pochettino?
I know why.
Were they not ready for Pochettino's?
I can tell you. I can tell you the reason. I can tell you the hypothetical reason. Here are 3 reasons. 3 reasons. 3 maybe the reasons. 1. Frank Lampard, when he was the coach, did not train that team at all. They used to run out of gas. They didn't run. They didn't have a system. So Frank Lampard had none of those players prepared. 2, Pochettino is full Bielsa. That team was doing 2-a-days and training harder than any coach you can see. All you have to do is look at Ben Chilwell's body now versus when he was playing for Frank Lampard. He's transformed. So Pochettino puts his teams through the ringer to get to work. So it may be that transition from no work to hard work and harder than they've ever seen that some players are not adapting well. The squad's big enough. They can handle 9 injuries, honestly. They just have so many dudes.
Well, yeah, they've been buying left and right. Crazy. So
no,
think that, yeah.
As long as Jackson and Enzo are playing, I don't care. That team makes that team watchable. I love Enzo. I love Jackson.
You don't want Caicedo?
Oh, and my boy Caicedo will be fine. I'm pretty sure De Zerbi ran him into the ground too.
Okay, well, so we got that, and then what else do we have? Okay, so let's talk about Manchester United a little bit, and
oh boy,
and actually, because I saw this on goal.com, and they really have a problem, a lot of problems, but one of them is scoring. And because
they have a big scoring problem.
Rashford,
yes,
Rashford
a massive
it's just not enough. Obviously, he hasn't scored.
No,
I don't know when the last time he scored. I think the friendly maybe, but and they really don't have a 9. So
they do not. Correct.
So what's happening? They can try to get something. They got 6 days, but I mean, that's a big problem to have because not only they don't have a 9, but I don't even see anybody else scoring in the midfield. Casemiro's not scoring. Bruno Fernandes.
It's supposed to be Bruno.
Yeah, but
right.
I mean, he's busy trying hard to be a captain.
When we talked about our or somewhere along the line, I talked about the lack of goal scoring for United. They scored 58 goals. That made them 9th last year. That put them 40 goals behind. 36 goals behind Manchester City and 30 goals behind Arsenal. They are 30 goals off the mark from being a team that's ready to contend. Marcus Rashford did have a great run, but he scored them in bunches. It was all sort of before and after the World Cup. He scored like 15 goals in 20 games, I want to say. And that was the bulk of his scoring. And then towards the back half of the season, he sort of lost his way. And that's the only time he's ever been prolific. I mean, he's had some 17-goal seasons, but last year was his first sort of 30-goal season. And United had to play a lot of games, and he had to play a lot of those games that he had to plays on the left. If he's not on the left, he doesn't feel free, and he doesn't score goals. So when he plays down the middle, again, this is what I was talking about with Vinicius. He's unable to find the space that he needs. He's unable to sort of put his back to goal and play people in. So everything becomes disjointed, and the whole thing breaks down. That's why Ten Hag was playing Weghorst, even though Weghorst couldn't score, because it was unlocking Rashford. And at least he could play the ball back. He could play wall balls. He could play a ball around the corner as a striker.
Well, maybe
they're waiting for Højlund. Højlund is the key for them. He's got to come in and hit the ground running. He doesn't even need to score. He just needs to fill the space and unlock Rashford or Antony or Sancho or somebody. They just need to get they're in the muck. They can't move. They're stuck.
They paid £72 million for him. He's 20 years old. Mm-hmm. So to put the weight on him to score right away is going to be hard. It's going to be tough.
If he scores 15 goals, it's gold, honestly.
Now, but Rashford, why not just put him as a winger as he's supposed to be? And maybe he's more capable of doing his job. I think.
Well, that's because then who plays down the middle?
You got to
that's what the problem they've had is. The other thing, and as much as I love him, they cannot play Wan-Bissaka. He cannot play Wan-Bissaka. He puts their offense into the mud as much as he wants to play out from the back. Every team knows that Wan-Bissaka on the ball is a complete liability. You watch United. Teams will shift the whole defense away, let Wan-Bissaka get on the ball, and the second he gets on the ball, they all come after him because they know he can't pass. It slows everything down, and you just wait for the transition. With Wan-Bissaka in the team, they're very good defensively and terrible going forward. He's just not a good enough creative player for modern football the fullbacks play. They should have gone after Cancelo. They would be awesome.
Now I got a question though. Do you think that maybe because Bruno Fernandes they have underperforming wingers, obviously, and so Bruno Fernandes, the fact that he is a captain of one of the biggest clubs in the world, don't you think that has something to do with the fact that he's not able to perform as well as he should have? Not saying that that's the absolutely truth, but some people can't take that responsibility, and he's been talked about. Obviously,
I don't think he was a good. I don't think he was a good candidate for being a captain because of the way he reacts on the pitch. The rolling around, it's fine, The rolling around, the complaining, the face, everything about him screams, this person is not a captain. Then you add in that he was yelling at Palestri, who's a kid. I mean, sure, we don't know what he was saying. Maybe he's trying to give everyone the standards. The issue is that he appears, I don't know if this is true, he appears to be whining all the time. Right. That's not leadership. That's whining. You have kids, I have kids. They whine. I don't want someone on my team who's supposed to be leading a team whining and touching his tooth every time someone comes near him like he got an elbow in the mouth because his teeth are sticking out. I don't want him. As much as Maguire was sort of limp and sort of quiet and sort of reserved, at least he showed up. At least he did all the press conferences. I'm not sure who the right captain is for that team. What's weird is, like you said, it should be Casemiro. I'm not sure his English is good enough is the issue. I don't know if he can sort of speak for the team. So the other candidate would be like someone like McTominay, who's come through the academy, or someone like Eriksen, who has some gravitas in the league. But I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't think it makes much of a difference. They're just not playing well.
Yeah, well, I do think the mental. I think putting that pressure on somebody that's not what they feel like doing. And obviously, I don't think he would say, "I don't want to be the captain because I'll look weak in front of the locker room." I don't think he'll say that. But one thing is this. I just remember a player name that maybe could allow for Rashford to go as a winger and him being in the middle. What about Eriksen? Could he not?
Where's Eriksen going to play?
Make the effort to play in the middle.
Of a three as a striker?
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be a complete nine, but I think you can move in the middle, like like a false nine.
I think you'd be better. I think you'd be better off putting Mount there, and just letting him be. Yes, better than Eriksen doesn't run enough because they want to press.
Well,
and I'd like to see them try Sancho. I'd like to see them try any of those players. I think Sancho is actually more underrated. Ten Hag has a weakness for Antony because he's not realizing it's sunk cost. He needs to bench him. He's not good.
I would even
he needs to go.
And listen, I would give at this point. I think Ten Hag should have the just no seriously. Like she should have the mentality. I know you want to laugh because you think I'm going to say I'm going to destroy him, but no. I mean, I'm just trying to be on his side. But like maybe he has to have his options open. He can't get locked in on one lineup. Obviously, and I think why not?
They're not good enough.
Why not give Martial 90 minutes and see how
he'll get hurt? He can't play 90 minutes.
Well, damn,
he hasn't in ages.
But or
why is he on the team? I don't know.
Or start him, or start him, and it, like you said, Sancho maybe
understood.
Maybe could do something, but you got to. I feel this. If you could say that Rashford is the best player that they got. Potentially,
he is.
Right?
That is a fact.
So, if he is not performing, if your best player is not performing in the position that you put him in the position that he works best, and try to work everything else, in that sense. So we'll see what happens. They do have a scoring limitation. I see Mason Mount right here, but he's hurt. But I don't get it. I don't get Mason Mount, but it is what it is.
I think they'll be okay. I think United are playing Forest at home. That should be a gimme. They can work through, get their second. They have that. They coming off a loss to Spurs where they really could. A draw would have been a bit more fair, but fundamentally at home against Nottingham Forest, get healthy, get the win, go into the next game. You're 2-1. You've got your 7. You got your 6 points. They just need to play better performances. And I want to see Ten Hag change it up. If your team works with McTominay in it, play him. If your team works with Eriksen and Fernandes, play them together. I think Casemiro's having a hard time. Teams are figuring out that he's 34 and you can run at him.
Well, but
he needs more protection.
He needs protection. Anybody would. To be honest with you,
he can't defend two. Which is what's happening.
It's such a big open hole right there in that part of the pitch for United.
Yeah.
He's not.
Speaking of big open holes, right? That Nunez character from that Wolves game, now City's in on for a replacement for Paquetá. So Nunez is on City's radar along with Eze. So just any young, good midfielder is now on City's radar. I'd be surprised if they closed any of them, but Nunez might be the one.
It might be just Pep saying, get him if you can. If not, I don't care. Kind of deal. Now, let's move on to the...
City don't get forced into things. They make the moves they want to make.
Yeah. So now Gabriel Jesus spotted training in a miraculous comeback training in an injury boost. You wonder if that was real or not. But no, I mean, listen. But one thing I will say, what's happening with the Premier League teams? They don't have strikers. Tottenham doesn't have strikers. United, Arsenal, Chelsea, who do they got?
Jackson.
Oh, Jackson. Okay, Jackson, which is we'll have to see how he does.
They were supposed to have. Well, I think it's a, like I said, we've been talking about it. It's a very, very difficult position to fill, especially if you're asking these strikers to defend from the front. Yeah. There are strikers out there, but they're limited, right? No. There's Lukaku. He's out there, but no one wants a stationary, give me the ball at my feet striker.
Yeah, and I think because he's his age as well, and maybe
and then there's good ones that teams are hoarding. Like, you don't know this because you haven't watched him a lot, but no, I'm just kidding around. But Callum Wilson is a hell of a striker.
Yeah.
And if I were a team, I would try and pry him from Newcastle and say, if you sign here, you will play.
No.
And he's the type of player. I think other strikers that people underrate, Ollie Watkins is fantastic for Aston Villa. Really good player. If he was Arsenal striker, they'd be fine. There are players. They just kind of don't fit the profile. They're not like big name, started at 17. They're grinders. They've been in a league a while. They've taken their time. They've had to work their way up. So they lose a little bit of the shine, like a guy like Ivan Toney, even though he's out. But just like, these are really, really good strikers that take a long time to do the role.
Well, Arsenal is definitely suffering from that. And now they got Nketiah, which he's done all right. He's not that
bad. He is what he is.
He's done all right.
Yeah.
Actually, could have easily scored more than one goal in against Crystal Palace, scored against Nottingham Forest. You could give him a shot. Gabriel Jesus apparently looks like he's getting better. But
Nketiah did play. He drew the penalty against Palace. He just missed a couple chances. He's just a guy who needs 3 to score 1. What you want is strikers who need 2 to score 1 or 1 to score 1, the way Haaland is, right? Those are the best ones. They need 1 chance, they score it. Gabriel Jesus is more of a 2 to score 1. And Nketiah is more of a 3 chances to score 1 kind of guy, maybe a 2.5. But, he works hard. He runs hard. He does his best, but he's just not. He's a championship striker playing for Arsenal.
Well, but do you think, you're talking about the Gunners that are going to compete again in Champions League, in FA Cup.
They have a striker. They're selling him. Why don't they play Balogun? I don't understand it.
And that's exactly my point.
He must have pictures of Arteta's wife.
Or he's just tired of getting put down. They keep sending the kid away. And so we'll discuss that.
They're going to sell him to Marseille, right? That's the rumor, the latest.
I have another rumor that actually might fall in peace. So, okay, we'll see about Gabriel Jesus. And, by the way, one striker, I didn't mention this, that's rumored for Manchester United is actually, they're looking to hijack Roma's move of Marco Leonardo from Santos, Brazil. I don't know much of this player, but
no, me neither.
Could be a Brazilian.
Is he like 17 years old, or is he a finished article?
He is young. Now he is.
United don't need young. They need a real 20-goal striker, a real one, not a bullshit one.
I don't think you can guarantee that from South America. Let's just say that.
No.
So, of course, this comes also from releasing Mason Greenwood, and apparently he would be kind of that style. And then you got Safia.
That's the thing about the Mason Greenwood thing. They need him.
Exactly.
Don't talk about it.
and then they got no, you're right. And then you got Safia.
But that's a different story entirely.
And they got Amrabat, who they can't close the deal. I don't understand. And like you said, they're selling the house, so they can't buy anything. But you have to have cash in it. You have to have cash at some point. Buy them with cash.
But this has been the problem with United. They don't do business properly. Everything is out in the open. They leak everything. Everything takes too long. Every rumor is a story. There are a lot of journalists who are connected to the club, and a lot of stuff gets out. So without that strong internal institutional strength, like that anyone cares about the club or is like in control, like they don't have a strong leader, everything takes too long. Everything feels muddled. It's too many cooks. Like even the Mason Greenwood thing. Why did it take so long? Why was it like 4 messages that were long PR bullshit? Someone just stands up. The second he's done, he's never playing for the club. This is Manchester United. He doesn't play for us. We're going to try and move him on. Any questions? Refer to the PR department. Thank you. Instead, they did a whole study. The whole study leaked. Like if they're treating things like that so out in the open and poorly, you got to imagine that that's how their transfers work too. So they're a bit all over the place. They can't seem to. It doesn't feel like a club that is well run. And that comes from the ownership, and they're not going to get a new owner anytime soon, and we don't know what's going to happen. So United are just kind of listless.
According to what's been, rumored lately, that the Sheik already won the bet. So they just gotta he's gotta move himself, move his bank, or do whatever he needs to do. I don't know. I'm not a billionaire.
Well, what he needs to do is take the Glazers, fly them in Prigodiev's plane, and shoot it down, and then they'll have a new. You gotta be like Putin. You want to get something done? You blow up the plane that the guy is in.
Hey, so I had a surprise, and I'm actually I want to keep it interesting. Let's go.
Top Football Club breaking news.
Well, the breaking news is that we were talking about strikers and teams, and one of the teams we're talking about is Chelsea and Arsenal, and why they haven't gone for Bellingham. Well, Chelsea might be interested in old Bellingham, according to Football 365 and One Football. Now, Bellingham during the friendly match against the MLS All Stars, Chelsea caught, he caught their eye, and he's about 50 million. That's what they want. That's what Arsenal want. Again, Arsenal could use him, but Chelsea could too.
Why would Arsenal sell a player to Chelsea if they're going to compete? I don't understand it. Unless they have disrespect and they're just like, fine, we'll sell him.
They probably don't. They probably don't want him, and they want to get some cash. I mean, they know that Bowley is giving it away, or Bowley, however you say his name.
Bowley, however the hell he says his name exactly.
So
I don't know. He's a bit of a clown to me.
Hey, that clown's spending a lot of money, So, but what do you think? You think that he could fit at the Stamford Bridge? You think he could be a good signing?
I think he's more. I think he's just more of the same. Like he's another young player who needs time, who needs space. It would hurt the Jackson play. All these things that it just becomes more of the same, right? Like, but he's not an established Premier League striker.
No, I get that, but he knows the Premier League. He's not established. But he scored 22 goals in 39 appearances at Rams, whatever you want to say. And that's not an easy league to score and an easy team to actually score with. Basically PSG and Marseille and Monaco and Olympique de Lyon, maybe they govern that league. So 22 goals in 39 appearances, it's not a bad deal, man. And he knows the league.
I'm going to trust Arteta and just go, I don't think that he's good. I think that's the issue. There's players like that where you're not sure based on what you see. Reims. This team's in 11th. I thought it was Rennes. These French teams, they don't have the same name.
Reims, yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. Also David Moyes, West Ham United, could be interested in my man Balogun, but also Gianluca Scamacca from Atalanta. So,
Scamacca. Wait, hold on. That doesn't sound right. They sold him to Atalanta.
Oh yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yes.
So
he already had Scamacca and didn't use him at all.
But what I was trying to say is that maybe David Moyes might want to,
to jump in for Balogun. I don't know. They have a big hole in their pocket for money, and they keep playing Mikel Antonio. God love him. I love him. I love me some Mikel Antonio. He just
a big guy.
runs and runs and runs and kicks the shit out of people. I love him.
Now, did you see?
He's such a great crap footballer.
Another nugget. Aaron Ramsey joins Burnley Football Club as well for a $5 million transfer. He is a kid.
Yeah, he comes from Aston Villa, right?
I believe so. So I just saw it right here. So I wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know the player very well. But now, if Vincent Kompany wants him, he must be good because Vincent Kompany knows what he's doing.
Chelsea, by the way, reached an agreement for a MLS goalkeeper. What is his name? He's a New England Revolution.
Yeah, I saw
goalkeeper.
this. I don't quite understand the point of that one either.
No, because they're loaning what's his name to Real Madrid.
Oh, Kepa.
And so, last name
is
his name is Petrovic. Petrovic. So he's
what
Serbian.
Team was he playing for in MLS?
Revolution, the Revolution, New England Revolution. So goalkeeper, I don't know, but it hits out there. Now to end this beautiful episode, which went by really quick, actually.
Wait,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, we have to talk about your team.
Oh,
we got to talk about Newcastle Liverpool.
Newcastle Liverpool. Let's do a quick preview and we'll post it tomorrow. So, what can we expect from this match? Obviously, I'm going to trust Newcastle and think that they can get something done at St. James's Park. And people have been talking about how lackadaisical and how they really didn't have the dog mentality against Manchester City, the champions. So maybe they can show a little bit of this against Liverpool, a team that might be competing for the title. So I think they need to show the ambition. I think Eddie Howe knows that this has been talked about, and he recognizes it. We played his clip on the previous show where he understands that Manchester City just played really well. And at some point, listen, Manchester City is the best club in the Premier League. So maybe it's okay. Now, the defense was 100% on point.
I agree.
But
although to be fair, to be fair, Haaland missed a lot of shots.
But
they did get in the way.
But he's gonna get looks. You have to admit that. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
What do you think this match is? This is going to be a really
I think
big match.
This will be another test of the midfield. I would expect that there will be chances, especially at home, especially with St. James's Park. I want to see Tonali and Guimaraes really step up and control that midfield, especially getting at the defensive midfielder role. Whoever it is, whoever Kubo, if it's Kubo, if it's McAllister, whose card got rescinded, they should be able to dominate the midfield, and they should try and isolate Alexander-Arnold and get at them. I want to see Isak putting pressure on Van Dijk and see if they can't get at the Liverpool defense, because that is the weak spot. The weak spot of Liverpool is Trent Alexander-Arnold's side and controlling the midfield. Liverpool cannot control games. This has been their problem for the last 2 years, and whenever they have a bad season, things get out of control. I think that an up and down game, Newcastle has the firepower, especially if they don't start Gordon and they start Harvey Barnes to score goals. I don't trust Gordon yet to be a finisher, and I don't necessarily love Almiron. I don't think that they work quite right if they play Wilson and Isak, but that would be for different games. But I do want to see a strong midfield performance, and I trust the defense a lot. How they handle Salah and how they handle Diaz will be tough. I think Trippier will have a really hard time, and I would imagine that they're going to go down that side. But we'll see what happens there. And Dan Burn, God love him, he's going to be battling. He's going to need all the help he can get battling with Mo Salah at 6'7". Yeah. So it should be amazing.
Yeah, that's going to be a great match for sure. But again, it's about defensively. We got it right, and we definitely got to do that. But it's a mental game, the mentality. Newcastle has to change their mentality. Yes. If they believe they can beat
at home,
Liverpool,
I think they'll find. I think a score draw will be the result.
Well, no,
like
see,
a 2-2.
I'm not going for that. I'm going for the win. Newcastle. You see right there. Newcastle. There's a Newcastle in town. UK flag.
You know what's funny though? This week is really funny. That's really the only standout game. I just want to run through it before we go. Chelsea play Luton at Stamford Bridge. Luton should get the doors blown off them. I'm interested in this Bournemouth-Tottenham game at the Vitality to see if Postecoglou can have a second performance. Everton versus Wolves. If you can have a 6-pointer early in the season, if Everton don't win this game, I'm changing my prediction, and I'm going to say they're going down. Brentford Palace, always fun. London Derby, I enjoy these games. United, like I said, play Forest, not crazy. Another London Derby, Arsenal versus Fulham. Arsenal should wipe the floor with this. Brighton play West Ham, could be a really good game. Sadly, Enciso, one of the guys I was relying on, does his ACL. He's out for 4 months. That's going to hurt Brighton, but next man up for the great and powerful Seagulls. Sheffield United versus Manchester City, not a big deal. No Pep Guardiola on the sideline, we know, because of the back injury that I did a video about. And then Burnley, Aston Villa at Turf Moor should be fun. And then we end our week with the venerable Newcastle versus Liverpool at St. James's Park.
Okay,
just wanted to get that stuff out.
Now let's do our top club predictions this week. And I told you, I didn't tell you this because I knew you're going to be cheating. So I don't want you to cheat. I want you to actually lose right and not lose and blame it to the people.
What do you mean? What do you mean by top club? What are you trying to tell me to do?
Top clubs, man. You know what top clubs are in Europe? Juventus, Inter, Bayern Munich,
okay.
Real Madrid.
You want me to pick the champions?
No. The matches
or just the week.
I'm writing the matches down of top clubs, and you're gonna give me your prediction. You're just gonna say it. You know what I mean? So
I have to guess. I don't even know.
You better be doing your homework at home. You know, for next week. Now you're late for this week, but for next week you better be doing it. Now let me go to the Bundesliga. No, because you're cheating, man. You can't cheat. And by the way, whoever wins at the end of this season is gonna win a big prize, $30,000.
I'm not cheating. I
30
don't cheat. You want Premier League scores? Is this the first step? What are we talking about?
Now hold on.
Which games?
Man. Give me a second.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you the games. Now.
Okay.
All right, Spark. And then we're gonna do.
Can we start with Liverpool, Newcastle?
Yes. Give me a second, brother. I'm trying. It's not easy to write these German names down. Okay. We'll see. Now this is gonna be week 2 or week 3 for us. So let's start with. Okay. Well, I have Liverpool. I don't have them yet. So let's just start in order. Real Madrid versus Celta de Vigo. By the way, we're going to have that match watch along this Friday tomorrow. And I'll be watching it.
Real Madrid versus Celta de Vigo.
Celta's not an easy match.
Who's at home and who's away?
Vigo is home.
And that is Rafa Benitez, right? He's managing Celta?
That's a good question.
See, it is Rafa.
Okay.
I am going to go. Oh, Celta is at home. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 1-0 to Real Madrid.
Okay, 1-0. I'm going to go 2-1 Real Madrid. Barcelona versus Villarreal. That's a good match.
Is that home or away?
Home. No, Villarreal.
For Barca? Oh, Barca's on the road all season because they play in that weird ass fucking stadium.
Well, yeah, I think they're home this time though. But I'm gonna go 1-1.
It's Villarreal, you said, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. I am gonna go
keep
with
me on your toes
again.
Man.
Barcelona 1-0. Barcelona 1-0.
See, you weren't prepared for this. Chelsea Luton.
No,
it's gonna be easy for you.
2-0 to Chelsea.
I'm gonna go 3-0. Manchester United.
Chelsea have not scored 3 goals in 2 years.
Well,
what's that? United versus Forest.
Yeah. See,
I got United getting healthy. They're gonna win at home. 3-1.
3-1. I keep giving United chances.
Maybe we shouldn't.
I'm gonna give United 2-0. Man, but Forest always scoring, man.
They're tough. They're really bad on the road though. Really bad. Like they don't win anything.
Now, Arsenal Fulham.
Fulham can't score. They don't have Mitrovic. I think Arsenal are getting themselves healthy. Let's call this 2-0 to Arsenal.
I got the same score. 2-0. Manchester City, okay. Sheffield United, I got 3-0.
5-0. Holland's gonna score a hat trick. They're gonna light this team up like a Christmas tree.
Internazionale against Cagliari. Serie A.
Oh my God, I don't know anything about the Serie A.
Well, you better start.
2-1, Inter.
You better start. You better be doing your homework this season, man, because it's gonna get really tough on you. You want to win $30,000? You better do your homework.
Fake dollars, yes.
What's it called? Monopoly. I'm gonna go 2-1 Inter. Juventus Bologna.
Oh, yeah, Bologna were good, and
yeah, I think I'm gonna go 1-1.
No, they don't suck. Let's see. Juventus versus Bologna. For my dear friend Francesca, who's from Bologna and a big Bologna fan, shout out to her. I'm gonna go 1-1. Bologna get the draw.
Copy, man. I got the same thing.
Oh, is that what you said?
Ooh, this is getting fun. AC Milan versus the old bull Torino.
Oh, wow. Torino.
Hey, AC Milan's gonna beat them like a drum,
man. 2-1 AC.
I'm gonna go 2-0, 2-1 AC. Okay, let's go to Deutschland. Bayern Munich, Augsburg.
Oh, Augsburg's a bum team. 4-0. Harry Kane with 2 goals.
Okay. Oh, hey man, you better be careful with those predictions. Two goals. I'm writing it down. You said Harry Kane, 2 goals, and the last one, Borussia Dortmund versus Bochum. I don't know how to say that. I'm just gonna go.
Bochum are relegation candidates. 4-0. Oh, away from home. 3-0 to 3-1. Yeah, 3-1. 3-1.
Oh my God.
3-1.
You're about to lose this.
3-1 to Dortmund.
Okay. Now for the previous week, we have. Oh man,
I did really well last week.
You did really well, but you got 19 points. I got 12. So. Okay, I still got. I
got the exact that Forest game was killer for me.
I can still catch you. Okay, no big deal. Anyways, those are our predictions. By the way, just to finish up, we're going long, but I do want to touch on this. Lionel Messi is incredible. You did a short on the YouTube.
Oh, it's really good,
and it really people are really loving it. But this dude is crazy, man. You know,
he's the best.
How can you really stop this? It's kind of unbelievable, to be honest with you, isn't it? I mean, It is. Like,
he's the best.
I mean, but I get that he's the best, but I'm like, I just don't believe it.
Well, I think the key thing is here, like what we're so for people who don't know, Miami is still in last place in MLS. All this time has been in 2 tournaments. So he just won the Leagues Cup, which is a made up tournament between the MLS and Liga MX. So he won that. Now he just won in a shootout the U.S. Open Cup, which is the equivalent of the U.S.'s FA Cup. Very old tournament since 1921. It's our oldest recurring soccer tournament. Usually not taken very seriously, but for Messi to play in and get it, they were down 2-0. They come back on 2 assists by Messi. The second one was incredible. But then in extra time, Cincinnati, who are the best team in MLS by record, went up 3-2, and then they scored another goal late to bring it level. And from there, went to penalties. Messi, of course, dispatched it. But I think the big thing is with the story with Messi is how much joy, how much fun he's having. He's clearly 1,000% happier. Like just as though at PSG, he was carrying a piano on his back, dealing with the circus, dealing with Neymar, dealing with being the most famous person in Europe, dealing with all that, having left his boyhood club in Barcelona where they protected him clearly. And now that he was free of that and able to breathe and be in Miami and be in the U.S. where they're treating him as a novelty, as like, I have to go see this. He's the it's like Taylor Swift. Messi in the US is like the Taylor Swift tour. Everywhere he goes, it sells out, and it's the greatest thing he can do, and he's just playing the hits, and he's taking over the MLS, and that's the headline. Messi is Taylor Swift.
Okay. Messi is Taylor Swift. He's a Swiftie. Anyways, that's it for Top Football Club. That's it for Football Tonight. Thank you so much for listening, watching, and everything for your support. My name is Chris Rodriguez. Laurent, thank you for being a part of this. We'll see you guys next time.